Yes.
Hello, Jenny, or should I say aloha? Aloha,
Aloha,
aloha.
aloha.
How you doing, Jenny? Now, before you even answer, my name is Grace Carter, and this is my dear friend who lives on Maui. So I used to live for a year and a half. I visited Maui. I absolutely love Maui. But Jenny, Jenny lives there full time. She is by her house. So nobody knows better than Jenny, who was on August 8th, 2023, so 12 days ago, on Maui. So thank you very much, Jenny, for showing up. I'm so glad you could make it. Please share with us what happened and what's going on.
Okay. Well, everyone has their own particular story to what happened with the fires in Lahaina. For myself, where I live, I'm not in Lahaina. I'm on the other side of Maui, on the east side. Where Grace was living was actually Lahaina side that we lost. So this is very dear, I know, to Grace's heart. Luckily, the small town where she lived north of Lahaina has been spared by the fires, and
Thank
she
God.
was reaching out to me. I know she was
You know,
frantic. She was
but when you even saying this, almost I have tears in my eyes. It's
I know, I know. It's
like the
awful.
7 stages of grief.
Yeah,
I'm at
yeah,
the point, like, after shock, denial, pain, anger, screw the depression. Let's go right to find out what the hell happened. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Yes. So Grace texted me right away and was asking, is Lahaina okay? Is this address okay? Where I lived, is it spared? And I didn't have answers for her at that time. And I quickly found what I could. And I did find out the area that was burned. And luckily, where Grace was living has been spared. In fact, I went to it on Sunday and I was in your old neighborhood and I got to see the community. It was vibrant, it was alive, and everyone was running out to support the burn victims. So where Grace was living on the outskirts of Lahaina is the periphery in the outside area. So Kahana and a little bit south of that, right up to the burn zone. There's a lot of people around that are displaced, and there's a lot of pouring in of donations coming from Maui. So immediately after the fires happened, if I can back up a little bit, that night on Tuesday night, we were having our own fire where I lived on my side of the island, and I could see the fire 1/8 of a mile up this road. So you cannot see Haleakala. This is the volcano on the west side. You can't see the top of the volcano, but if the clouds weren't there, you'd see it. And I saw fire right there, on close, about 1/8 of a mile away, maybe like 2 kilometers away. And we were thinking that we had to evacuate. We heard nothing about Lahaina because when that firestorm hit, it cut out power, it cut out cell phone towers. So the fire started here first. And so the fire crew was here dealing with Olinda fires and Kula fires on this side of the island. And I don't know if that took away resources to Lahaina. They knew a fire started in Lahaina. They then declared that it was 100% contained. And then all the crews said, all hands on deck, come back to this area. And in a quick second, that's all it takes, another downed power line, they believe, fell down because the winds were so crazy, Grace. It was like something you've never seen before. And Grace knows that Lahaina, there's usually. It's very hot. It's a beautiful historical tourist town, and just beautiful, where artists and musicians are there, and it's just absolutely lovely. It's the old kingdom of Hawaii and the capital, the old capital. So you can imagine a lot of history there. It's typically not windy, and it was
And
extremely windy because this.
I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm gonna cut in. Did you hear
Mhm.
at that point about hurricane that was going on, and that's why you had those high winds?
Yes, so we knew why. And already part of my roof was blowing off. So the ridge of this roof was blowing. And I had my own problems and worried about that. And then I caught word on Wednesday that Lahaina got hit badly, and we heard on social media recently that it was, or through the alerts that we were getting on our phones, that that was contained, and we were the ones in trouble. But meanwhile, another fire started, and that one just, it was like the perfect storm, and it moved about 1 mile per minute, this storm catching. So the fire,
Yeah,
and
they
it was
said
really a
1 mile per minute. Actually,
yeah.
that's how fast everything was going.
Yeah, it's the wind carried it, really the wind. And I hate to say it, I feel guilty feeling grateful because of so many, and at this point I immediately felt that way. You know, it's just similar to 9/11 and I'm from New York City area, and when that happened, you hear the destruction, and I immediately have faith and doubt and denial that, well, everyone got out of the building. There was enough time. The plane hit the building. There was an hour before it collapsed. Everyone evacuated, of course. I didn't know the ins and outs, that people were told to stay in the buildings, and that's safe. And same thing with this. We had children home because the fire was raging the most at 3 p.m. in the day. Now, 3 p.m., 1500 hours, is time where parents are still at work and the children are home. There's no school, has not started yet. And so the children were home alone in their houses with
Oh,
pets,
you
and
know,
parents were
I
working.
gotta ask you, again. I heard, which, I listen a lot because I want to know as much as possible, right, about what happened. And they said that everything started at 9 a.m., even maybe a little before. And the
Yeah.
kids were told to either stay at home or go home from school. I don't know which one, actually. So my question is, because you are a teacher like me, and you actually still in it, right? You have a vacation, correct? Like vacation time. So
No, well, actually, the school had not started yet. So yeah, I am an educator, but I work 12 months around the year, and I work in the district office with the superintendent. So I'm not a classroom teacher anymore, but I know what's going on with all the schools and when school starts. And school was about to start. Maybe every school starts in a different day. They had administrative days. So teachers showed up that Monday. And then the Tuesday, some schools opened with children, and some schools decided that would be one more teacher preparation day. So no students. So there were students that were home, not in the schools on that day. Yeah.
So I heard
And
that the kids, the children and elderly, that's who actually probably still missing. If, I would listen to my intuition. That's the
yeah,
ones that never even heard any
no
warning.
sirens, no nothing. That failed. I believe that the EOC, or the gentleman who, and I'm sorry, I've been crazy trying to run an animal shelter for the evacuees for their pets. So I'm so busy that I don't have time to watch the news, and it's a terrible thing. Well, a little bit, but I'm not the most, because I don't have time. I'm actually trying to do things to help,
Which is
and
good.
so there's
Yeah,
right.
service.
But it's, and I apologize. I don't want to give any inaccurate information to Grace, or at this interview. But if I don't have, I can give you my personal experience.
Oh,
But
that's exactly what we need to hear.
yeah. So back to the schools. So we know they were closed. We do know that there was a senior center that was there, and that one everyone is missing or were caught in the fire. No way to escape because nobody was there. And people, I don't know if those are the people that were first announced the names of the deceased, but they were in their 70s and 80s. So I wonder if they were at that senior center. I don't know. But
Did
they
they even
had
release any names, Jenny? Did they release any
they
names?
did. They did. 3 individuals were the first names to release, and they were all in their late 70s. So yeah.
Because right
And
now
they're
they
slow.
say it was what, 114, which we know. I actually don't believe that that's all they know. Okay.
We're just declaring it's a joke, and it's, I'll tell you, Grace, it's so enraging to be here, and everyone is really, it's an outpour of absolute grief. people doing everything they can. And the aloha spirit is very alive now. It is like, and I know Grace was really, just really feeling the heart of Hawaii. It has come through so strongly now. And also other people who either have visited Hawaii or just have their hearts out for the children or the seniors or the pets and the animals that are now lost, and reuniting, trying to reunite with, because there are standing buildings with animals inside and people are not allowed to get to their pets. And we're on day 12 right now. So because they've blocked it off. And that's a good picture that Grace is showing there. That is Front Street. That is the main strip that you see. And there was old traditional buildings, absolutely beautiful. You take this stroll along the road, but not only from that in this picture, you can see the amount of desperation. Those cars that are turned off to the side, and the road, the ocean is on the right side of that picture. And, you have the shops, they're all traditional wooden, they go up like a match, just like a match, but this is all along Front Street, looking back at the mountainside, and the ocean is at your back.
And the buildings.
And the waves.
Look
Yes,
at this.
Yes.
Look at this. This is
like, it's intense.
I hate to even show it, because this reminds me like it was a war somewhere and everything was just.
It looks like Baghdad. It looks like, we had people say, the helicopter pilot said it looked like Baghdad when you fly over, just the destruction and the rubble. The hardest thing for me and a lot of people now is that, so I went into this burn zone to help, because I'm sponsoring a family that has 3 of their giant tortoises in my.
Yeah, show those stories. Oh, that they are so cute.
Okay, they're let's see what I can do.
They probably hiding somewhere.
Well, here's one.
Oh, hi, turtle.
Hi. Yes. And then they're digging up. They're big diggers. I don't advise any of these tortoises as pets because they dig. You can see what they've dug. And then these are the other ones.
Oh, hi. Hi, turtles. You're doing fine there. You're doing fine. You survived.
Yes. Yeah. So
beautiful.
It's and then I have 5 of her cats. So she piled up. She ran an animal sanctuary. She's 78. Her name is Terry, and she also has a gentleman helping her with all of the animals and the birds and the parrots she had. And she was right near Front Street, where her house was, the main place that was hit. She got out just the last house. The neighbor's house was catching fire, and Pete, her partner, was just screaming at her, let's go. And she's thinking, I need to take pictures for insurance. And it's just not selling into her mind how close she was to danger. And then they drove through it. They were able to help with people lift these 100-pound tortoises in the back of a truck. Just 5 cat carriers and birds, and get the hell out of there. And then 2 other people had other trucks and grabbed her 2 other tortoises and went to your area in Kahana, Grace, and went north. And we got them all reunited, and I said I would take them in. I found on Facebook, and they found me because I said, I have a cat boarding business in my home where I board people's cats in my bedrooms when they go travel, and I take good care of them. And once immediately this happened, this fire, I thought immediately animals. I texted my clients. I said, are you okay? Is your house okay? Is your cat okay? Is there anything I can do? And then I realized I would be running a shelter. And then I put out, asked for donations. So I'm not paying, Terry found me. She's not paying for food or rent for me to care for her animals, because that's my kuleana to help her. And that's what I'm doing as just a homeowner, lucky enough to still have my house. And by way of the wind blowing, this could have been me. I could have lost everything, because I had my own fires.
I know you, Jenny.
It's incredible.
You, Jenny, have a really good heart. That's, you would do anything for anybody. So I'm not surprised at all. In fact, today I listened to some retired judge who is suing Hawaiian Electric Company. Guess where his house was burned to ashes, to nothing? In Kula. And I'm like,
Oh,
really? In
yeah,
Kula? And here we have
that's right.
Lahaina. This is like, hello, up country, and then right by the Pacific, right, ocean. But I want to ask you, and still on the note of this electric, wires. When I was there, remember visiting some homes, not yours, some others, and I would say, Jesus Christ, this would never pass any inspection in New Jersey. Those wires like spaghetti all over the place. So maybe now, after this disaster, because of the Mickey Mouse electric wiring, maybe finally they will do something good. Because if
Yeah.
not, it's going to be more fires. And yes, you can blame the climate change, for everything. But, let's call the horse a horse.
You're absolutely right, and that is the one of the reasons. There was conspiracy theories out there, white flash, reasons why the fire started. People will always go towards that direction when any disaster. They want answers. I want answers. You want answers. But definitely long-term planning. But the thing about disaster relief is that there's phases and stages of everything in development and recovery. Right now, the first 8 weeks, we're still in search and rescue, and a lot of people are already starting it's a dance. It's like a flow, because now you've got the people that are really good at search and rescue. That would maybe be me. I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I like relief work. I like boots on the ground. Let's go. Let's get the animals. Let's get the people safe. Let's get them food and water. The emergency, the EMTs, the
Jenny,
firefighters.
on this note, because you're absolutely right, you would be great. What if you said, I'm a volunteer? Would you think that they would be okay with it, or they would prefer to have their own crew?
Of their own crew, of course. And that's the bad part, because when Red Cross and all the government officials are waiting and seeing what's happening, because it's not safe to go in, and they're just rallying to find out, is it a real emergency? Like, is it? And they're just waiting. Boots are on the ground, but these are local people that are running immediately towards the fire to save people and get people out and get them safe, and putting their money, that they don't even have money. Like, that's aloha. They don't have the money to give to other families, and they're giving to families. And even people on the mainland going through Venmo, directly Venmoing people that they trust and know are actually putting the money into the hands of the people that need it, and not to filling the pockets of the people that are already rich, like Red Cross and FEMA. Yes, United Way, all those things are great, but you realize that in those larger nonprofits, they pay themselves. A portion of it can go towards, how it operates.
That's
yeah.
right.
So we all pay
That's
yourself
right.
first, right? But if you're someone who wants to give and do something, find someone like me. Doesn't have to be me. Find someone else that you may know through social media, hearing them talk, what they're doing. Make sure you see pictures of animals or people that they're helping, videos that they're showing that shows and proves what they're doing. Not I'm going to build a big refuge and here's photographs of chicken wire I'm going to use that's at Lowe's. Show me something you're doing now that you already have families, children, pets in your care. Then I will Venmo you. And then the money will go to where it's directly going to help. What I'm afraid of already, everyone's talking what developers are doing.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do know that
that's right. That's one of the questions.
right. And so
Uh-huh.
there's so many ideas, half-baked ideas that are driving around in people's minds right now. And it's very hard to contain, because it's like we need to go in phases of getting Lahaina back to a place where people can heal and it can be a wonderful town like we knew it used to be. But right now, in the first 8 weeks, we still have people and people's pets trapped in. I don't feel like we're ready to move on to talk about anything until we get everyone safe. Problem is, animals don't have rights. FEMA's not concerned. They're only concerned about, human remains over live pets of those humans. So
Oh,
they don't do
Jenny, I don't think that would be too much to say that if nobody was warned about what's coming and people were confused, so it's not just animals that don't matter in this point. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
how many
It's
people will be never even recovered with that fire? Are you those flames? Are you kidding me?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's so hard to wrap brain around the magnitude of this and the level of destruction. So I went in on Sunday with Terry to go get and rescue and see. There was a pocket of opportunity that they opened up the road, and if you had a state issued ID with an address of Lahaina, you were allowed to go into the road to get around because they blocked off one whole section. If like Maui has the east side and the west side, you could not go around. They blocked off here and then to go around to the other side of Lahaina at the two bays that are in the center. You have Maalaya and you have Lahaina, those two marinas. They blocked off at Maalaya Harbor, and then all the way around on the west side. You could not get around all one half of Maui. You couldn't get there. The roads were closed. They had them so sheltered, no cell phone, no electricity, no running water. Those people, it was like a third world country, and were fending for themselves, and we had no communication in, no communication going out. So we had people on jet skis, the surfer, bringing supplies, trying to support people in Lahaina. This is before FEMA showed up, before Red Cross showed up. Everyone was trying to get, we did not know if everyone was okay. We had no communication, and that was the scariest part. But then when we opened and saw what destruction was there, what would cause all of that to cut out, no cell phone, no everything, then it makes sense. But the biggest tragedy is that, we could do nothing. But then the most beautiful thing is how just regular people did a lot within that first week before we got any help
Yeah,
to
but the
keep these.
first week, the first week, Jenny, that's important. But let's go back to that day. It's 8/8. Hear about fires, right? No communication, no sound of anything, of warning. Every people blocked by the police.
Yeah.
Because they had orders. So now there's people going towards the front street, and it's a panic. I can imagine, the fire coming. You cannot go that way. Now you got to go this way. And I was thinking, if these people if they just kept driving on the front street, northbound, right? So that would be Honoapiliani Highway, or like going to me lower Honoapiliani Highway. There was two roads.
Yeah.
But they never made it.
The roads were blocked because everyone was trying to get out, and that's you can see some videos that exist out there where people are in gridlock trying to get out on the road, and flames are just baking them in the car, and that's how some people died. They were stuck in traffic, like you saw on that street on Lahaina side. Either they pulled over and they jumped in the water, and a lot of people have perished in their cars, and it's like a hot oven. They roll up the windows and the heat is so strong.
Even the tires actually melted. So yeah. I can imagine, although I can't and I don't want to imagine.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even remember you were in my apartment in Lahaina.
Yes.
And I was right by the little park of, and water. Do you know that sitting in that lanai, I would picture the lava fire is coming, and I was thinking, what would I do? Because you have a volcano there. So I even didn't think about fires like you had now.
Yeah.
Just what if that volcano go crazy? Where I'm gonna go? Run for the hills, or of course ocean. But guess what? I'm not a good swimmer. So I wonder how many people died in that water.
A lot. I don't know what the body count was, but I think it was like around, I don't want to say wrong, but I want to say like around 17 to 30. There was a count of people that died in the water.
So far, but still over 1,000 is missing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're assuming 3,000 pets and 1,000 people is the estimate of who is missing. And
my God.
But if we're only declaring that there's 114, exhumed, and we've already combed over 65% of the area. It's 3,000 acres. Only 65% has been combed through by National Guard. That means, Grace, that it's the same, the fire was so hot that they're not finding evidence. That whole area is a burial ground. It's terrible, Grace. I mean, that even just, it depends on wherever your heart goes to, what aspect of this devastation do you want to feel like you have in your skill set to take care of. Mine is the animals, but even within that, and I know every category has their own corruption, but in that one, even the county putting out this long thing on their website talking about how they're doing everything in their power to take care of and working with Maui Humane Society. So if you read this thing on the website, it calms you in a very horrifying way that you think something's being done, and you know that nothing is being done. There are still animals. I have clients that cannot get into their homes and their cat is stuck in the house, and we're on day 12. That cat's not going to make it, I hate to say. And there's, you know, and there's a protest that was at the Ace Hardware that you might have known, and people are protesting to try and get in. They have a chain link fence around areas to stop people from, and cops are there. People are getting arrested trying to say, can I go to my house? Can I go to my house now? And they're standing there like, no, 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 you can't. They're more strict. When I went in on last Sunday with Terry to go get, we went to her house. We were lucky. We drove around. She had a state issued ID. She had her address. We went all the way to Cannery Mall. We had National Guard stop us, but we were walking with cat carriers like we were on a mission. And we walked right up to the National Guard. And she's this amazing Jewish lady from the East Coast, and she's loud, and she's like, my house is right there. You can't tell me I can't go. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't let you go. And right away, she just went. I mean, it looked like we're not catastrophic tourists. We were going to retrieve animals, and she's a homeowner right there. And we did not have to go far. Like, she was right on the edge, close to the Jodo Buddha statue and that mission that's right there on the water. And she said, well, if we go around the Cannery Mall this way, can we get in that way? And his response was, he said, I don't believe anyone is guarding that street. And we knew right away he meant, I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm giving you information. And then they helped us cross this main highway. And we were able to just walk straight in, and nobody stopped us. But he helped us in that way. And after we left him, he said something like, yeah, I have a cat. And, you know, it's nice. So their hands are tied. We have good people, National Guards and police officers that are just doing their job. They cannot lose their job, right? They must feel torn in that cognitive dissonance of, I know that what I would do the same thing, but I don't want to lose my job. I have to follow orders. My boss is right there, you know, but it's the politicians, the county. So FEMA has even not blamed, but is pointing the finger when they're getting the heat, saying, why are you not allowing people in? I read this document, that the statement, FEMA said that they're following the requirements that were told to them by the county of Maui what to do. So they put it on the county of Maui. Now, I saw that, and so I'm writing letters to the President of the United States. You can go on the website and write letters. If we attack them with letters, email after email, they will get it.
You know, Jenny, that President Biden with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, too bad she's not a real doctor, just the title, they're gonna be on Maui tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, are you gonna go to meet the first couple in the United States?
Not interested. No? I mean,
maybe
I gotta work.
Maybe you should. You should ask questions. People should ask questions, you know, bombard them with the questions. That's what I would do. That would be good. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I did take 2 days off last week when the fires were to protect my home, because everyone's telling me, placating it, saying it's okay, the fires will be all right. I called my boss, and, you know, they're like, oh, the highway is in the way if the fire happens. And I'm like, the winds? So people will tell you things that will calm you down. And if you're smart, or if you have that spidey sense, or your intuition, always follow your intuition, you know? I mean, we had people that would drive right into the fires when they were evacuating, because they're just following the line of cars. I mean, you have to listen to your intuition. Sometimes you have to go through the fire to get out too. That was another thing. But hindsight is 2020. You hear all these stories of what people did. They will always regret what they left behind, that they didn't save, who they didn't save. But we just have to move on from here,
But you
and we
know
need to
what?
clean up
I
in the best.
swear, I swear, when I heard that was nothing, they have this special emergency pulse, right? That you hear tsunami is coming, something really horrible is coming,
Right.
and it was nothing. And the guy
No.
admitted in the front of the cameras that he didn't do it. Why he
Right.
didn't do it? Oh, because he didn't want people to go towards the fire. The next thing, he quit.
Yeah. He
So I
resigns.
wrote in
Yeah.
a comment, hopefully in a handcuffs. No, of course not. That's for sure.
No. And he probably didn't want to quit, but somebody advised him higher up, said, I'm going to have to fire you because this is getting political. So how about you just resign? And he probably was voluntold to resign.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't too happy, Kemper, that's for sure, when he was saying that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what happened to Kihei? Anything?
No, they got very lucky. They did evacuate. They were told to evacuate at I forget what time. It was like 9, 10 o'clock that night, and they had another fire going in that direction. And I have a friend who's in North Kihei. He told me he got the alert on his phone to evacuate, and he stayed. He did not evacuate. I think him very lucky that he was spared and it was contained. And I think it's just by the way the wind blew. We have in Lahaina that top mountain, and if wind does carry through, it's the backside. The north wind was coming from the north, and just like tsunamis, winds can do this dynamic swirl. They can also push down from the mountaintop and go out and really pick up speed. I don't know the direction that the wind was blowing at that time, but the way the fire moved, it was all pushing towards the ocean side at a very fast rate and kind of curving around. Sometimes it missed houses in strange structures. So when we went in, you could see a completely charred house, and then right next to it is a completely fine standing house, but not too many, but you do see them. And you wonder why they're still standing. Who knows? I really don't know. It's just, it's just the devastation is just really hard to
So how is
comprehend.
Jenny, because one thing is feeling sorry from everywhere else, but today, when you meet people, especially around the area of Lahaina, and the realtors and the developers and people who still cannot find their dear ones, how this picture looks like, how this feels?
Well, I'll tell you, from Friday after the fires, I was even going, that's before I even went into Lahaina. I was in a Longs that in Kahului. I was just with my friend and we were going around the corner to look for something, pick something up. We were denied, we could get access into Lahaina. That was maybe Friday. And so we stopped and realized we're gonna have to reassess because they shut the roads, or the line was so long we couldn't get in. And we're going past in Longs, walking past the pharmacy, and I saw 3, 4 Filipino women and a Hawaiian woman, and they're crying. And I just went up to them and started hugging one. And there's no question. And that's why I want to just describe like the feel of the area. It's Maui's changed because that's clearly. Just the same way that even in 9/11, people would say New Yorkers, of all people, New Yorkers were very kind and saying hello to one another after that devastation. And immediately, whenever these tragedies happen, they always say, look for the helpers. And there are a lot of helpers because of the aloha spirit and the culture here, and the sense of family. They're very smart people too, and they know they're one step ahead, and they know what's to expect, because also this isn't the first time that any level of gentrification has come through here, or a level of conquering coming from outside people, and now it's coming by way financially, buying land and changing people. The topography of Lahaina is forever changed.
Now, do you really believe that all of those people had the right quote unquote insurance for those homes? Or
No
suddenly,
one is Yeah, no one's speaking about that, but I'm thinking it all the time. I'm a homeowner, and I know that after you finish the mortgage, you are not required to have homeowners insurance. And a
really?
lot of these homes, yeah, so it's not a law. So a lot of these people don't have to have homeowners insurance, but they're taking a big risk. And the problem is that if this home, like in Lahaina, that is such an old community, if that house is paid off generations ago, and you now have, this is grandma's house, and you got multiple generational families, and the house is paid off, and it's the one thing that they have in the family, who's paying for the bills? They'll just be paying the electricity, the water, whatever's to get by, and the property tax. Property taxes here is relatively cheap. It is not New Jersey. So I'm from Connecticut. My mom's house that we just sold, and I moved my 91-year-old mother here to live with me. Her property tax was $5,000 a year to live in Connecticut. In here, it's about $1,500. So it's, 1/4 of that. So,
And you don't have to, it's not mandatory to have your house, your property insured. So
right.
that's huge.
So you
But
can live cheaply if you
but
have the house.
but now you see this
Yeah.
President Biden is coming, and I don't know what he's gonna do. Hopefully we'll do something for Maui. So hopefully something
Yeah.
good will happen. But
Right.
I tell you, that's what I was thinking. Like, what did these people in Florida a year ago? They had a Hurricane Ian. Do you know some people never seen money yet from the insurance companies?
I believe it. But this is a global thing. I worked with the brush fire victims in Australia. You interviewed me for that when I returned from during COVID, and I was there, and not a single, I was working at a wombat shelter. I have now the skill set of fires and looking for surviving animals up in the forest, and working with the people of Koryong in Australia. And the nonprofits I was working with, they said they never saw money come down from Red Cross, United Way, World Wildlife Federation, nothing. It's the people that individually donate to individual people that they know are working with their boots on the ground kind of operations. And
And that's
it's
the
the same
next thing.
thing. So
And you know what, Jenny? That's the next thing.
mm-hmm.
When I watch these videos, and some of them found me, right? Found me, found, give them money, give them money. And I'm like, it's okay to help, and we should help. But
Mm-hmm.
what about the government? What about these insurance companies? Shouldn't they step in?
I sure hope they do. Now, here's another systemic problem. Hurricane Iniki was devastated Kauai. I don't
Hawaii, yeah.
remember if that was in the 80s, yeah, or 90s. I'm not sure when that hurricane hit. I was not living in Hawaii at that time. I've been here 20 years, but not, this is before me. The smaller insurance companies, if you had homeowners insurance, they went bankrupt because everyone was devastated by the hurricane, that they went belly up. And now, after paying years and years of homeowners insurance, they're not even there to replace your house and help you. So they went bankrupt. And so tons of people, it probably will be the same thing. Maybe, I don't know, because, the US is a capitalist society. It's all independent enterprise. If you make the choice to go with the cheaper homeowners insurance, and they decide to claim bankruptcy because they cannot fulfill all of the houses because it's a natural disaster, and it's 3,000 acres filled with whatever your clients were, now you can't pay out your clients who've been paying you all these years. They claim bankruptcy. What can you do? That's it. So my homeowners the guy who I bought homeowners insurance from, he said, he told me the story of Hurricane Iniki, and he says, I don't want you to be one of those people. And I have to thank Wayne for telling me this. And I went for the more expensive homeowners insurance. So I'm doing another company. It's called First Insurance, and I know that they're going to care for me. They're being really great about my roof coverage right now. So it's just, it depends. That's where it's like you get what you pay for. I hate to say it. But if families can't afford and are not thinking that way because they're still putting food on the table and trying to figure out how to feed their family, but they're thinking of the electric bill, the water bill. These are the people that got hit, that lost their homes. It's and then Kula. The social economic status of people that live in Kula, if they're homeowners, they're a little bit better off than, should I say, humbly, in my humble opinion, what's going on down in Lahaina. This is the heart of Maui. These are where people have lived there a long time. They're blue collar working, hardworking people that don't have the means to rebuild unless their homeowners insurance completely covers it. And I personally don't have faith that that's going to happen. We need to help these people. That's the long-term effects. There's a lot of ideas going around what's going to happen. But see, Grace, before this all happened, the week before, the governor put down, or the mayor, saying there was a rent cap. No longer can you raise the rent, because we had a housing crisis before the fires. The week before the fires, they came out with this big list for landlords, things you cannot do. You have to, they're protecting tenants, and they're trying to find solutions to where are we going to house people? So we already had a housing crisis before the fires. Now, I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't. People are,
especially those who have no money to rebuild, and they have only ashes, and maybe they're not even able to go in and see what's going on or whatever. Do you think looting was happening? People was trying to steal some stuff?
Oh yeah, it was. But I wouldn't say that's the majority of the people. It wasn't like
no, that's got to be only individuals. Usually people are good and they feel so bad right now. They thinking about people, pets, not
right. Yeah. But I'll tell you, Grace, that was another story. Not just hugging the woman and talking with these two people in Longs, but when we went around and there's a boat ramp area around Kahana. You might know it. And it's past the shopping center. Maybe Ace was there. I know we went to a little
You're talking
area.
about Safeway?
You go down towards the water.
Safeway?
Maybe, yes. Yeah. There's a spot where you can access the water on a dead-end street. And the jet skis were coming in. But the feeling of aloha and amazingness, you're with all of the local Hawaiians hanging around in the streets. And there was a tent set up on either side. And we had to push through with our truck. And it felt, it was just, there was a lot of aloha, and you could see everyone supporting one another and hanging out. And it was just really wonderful to see how, people were trying to come together as a community and just emotionally respond to what's going on and support one another. And that was just wonderful to watch and be part of that. And I wish I took a video of it, but I was very sensitive still just to what was going on. I did not want to be, one of these people. So I kept my camera down at that time.
Do you see that I show in the back now the banyan tree instead of that, stuff that I cannot look those.
Yeah,
I can't. I just cannot.
But I do understand there was a sense of curiosity of like, you have to see the destruction for yourself just to comprehend and understand it. And I was not lucky, but I had the opportunity to go with a homeowner, stand in the ground with her. But very lucky that the National Guard let us through and tipped us off so we could get through. I almost passed out coming out of it. I don't know if it was a combination of the heat, working so hard, my boots, the bottom, I had
maybe that dust or something in the air.
Yeah, and it could be an emotional response of just doing everything I was doing, no sleep, and working for almost a week, and then showing up and seeing it. But the heat, the sweating, my feet were burning through my boots. I could feel it because it was still a hot zone of all the fires and what you're stepping on, the ash and everything. And trying to, look through the rubble of her house and we found the bodies of her chickens that didn't make it, the tortoises that did not make it, and that she had to leave behind because she had no space in her truck and just had to go because the fire was coming. And just to be with her and hold that space with her. And it was, we're holding vigil for her and with her to be there. But it was heavy. It was really heavy. And then looking for survivors and smelling dead bodies and then walking out of there. And the dead bodies, I assume at that point, were not human. There were big X's on places. So we knew that those were animals that perished or have died, or chickens. But they start decomposing fast. But I fell to my knees at one point almost. My friend told me to sit down, and then it was kind of like a quick boom on the ground. Like I was ready to go down already. And then a cop car came up and offered, he was allowing me to have a ride to get back out of the burn zone and back to the, and then he was one of the good cops. He's like, I was a teacher before I became a police officer. Oh, my mom. she's a teacher at Maui High. Thank you so much. Here's some hot dogs. And they're handing out food. But initially it was, what are you doing here? How did you get in here? And we were, you know, just,
So
we just
it's
walked
really
in.
like, so it's really like the war zone.
Oh yeah, and it looks like a war zone. And I'm not processing it. You know, it wasn't my home. If it was my home, I would have cried and been upset. I was just kind of in shock, and I had a mission. I was looking for surviving. Get her chickens. We got 3 of her chickens, and that was difficult, but we did it, and that was great. So we came. We got closure for her. She's one of the lucky families that was able to retrieve 3 surviving animals. I don't know how these chickens survived. They're like little dinosaurs, and just came back, and they were on her plot of land with ash, and there's her 3 chickens. And then she got confirmation not to look for another bird of hers because we found it who had passed. We found it. So she can move on. She can have closure and know and have answers. Not everybody is like that. Most of them are not. They have no closure. They don't know if their pets are still alive. They cannot get into their area, their home. They can't have closure. They don't have a visual to see what the house looks like. It may or may not have been looted and picked over. So if they had like grandfather's pocket watch or something, it's already been gone and taken. You know, things like that. You have to, it's just, they're not getting the closure that they need to go back to the burn zone. Yes, it's toxic. You're breathing in bad things into your air. And I think that was also why I felt sick coming out, and I needed fresh air because everything that burned and melted, there was melted metal in the garages, you know, where the garage stood next to cars, melted tires. That's very toxic to breathe in. So the combination of the heat, the toxicity in the air, and the emotional, I don't know why I felt faint, but I couldn't walk coming out. And everyone else was okay. They were feeling the heat and everything, but it was just, it's intense. It's just really, really intense.
You say it's intense to you, so you can imagine those people who lost everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Ashes.
Yeah.
And
I would
no
be in
money.
the hospital right
and
now.
For example, no money.
I would. No.
And people.
I would be.
Listen, and people. People, maybe brother, sister, mother, maybe, you know, pet, children missing. You know what? I don't want to even imagine too much, because to me it's just such a thing that, but the good news is about the banyan tree. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, it made it.
They said that actually
it's
gonna
charred,
live.
but yeah.
And what I heard, actually my son explained to me that's what he heard, that the trees have a specific ecosystem. So they communicate through the roots. So let's say in Kula was a fire, underground the tree, like the banyan tree, already prepared. Isn't that something?
That's cool. I did not know that. I mean, I knew the community through the roots, but I never thought.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
You know, nature. So thank God it is 150 years old tree, because that's like a heart in Lahaina. Everybody like to go there, take pictures. I did that, pictures and videos. Everybody loved that tree. So thank God, you know, something. If this will prevail, somehow people will be stronger than ever. You know, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we're in it for the long haul. We really need. We're already rallying as a community, and but we're going to need lots of help. But there's a different. It's almost like a little bit of a battle when you have a community so strong like we have in Maui, especially in Lahaina. The community is very strong. Like, we're trying to figure out how to place the kids and have them go to school, because they need that sense of normalcy to be with their peers. But the children, their reaction to knowing that their classmates have died and how things have happened, their community's gone. They're clinging to their parents. They don't want to leave their community and leave their families. But we're thinking solutions. We're going to ship them to, you know, downtown to go to another school, but they don't want to go. You're not going to break up that community. They cannot. So we knew right away there was a question, a thought, and right away we knew. And we have to find another solution to get these kids in school. We're going to have to bring the school to them, bring the educators to them. We'll see what happens ultimately. I don't know what we're going to plan on doing or what's going to attempt to happen in terms of starting school up for those kids. It's going to be a while. But we do know, I mean, there are some kids that are being moved and enrolling in other schools on the other side of the island if the family and the kids are ready for that. But the majority of them are not. And we're still trying to figure out how to reach.
Okay,
and
so that's
they
the
need
schooling. That's the schooling.
Yes.
How about those people who work? They had their businesses from the mainland, right? All these people working in Maui.
Well,
What
so I
happens
have a
there?
tenant. Yeah, I have a tenant that's living with me right now. She does the commute from west upcountry Maui all the way to Lahaina every day to work down the hatch and those restaurants on Front Street, and now they're gone. So she has lost her job. Well, the employer says you haven't lost your job, but we're not working. So she's like, I can't pay you rent, and that's it. And so what am I supposed to do as a landlord? You know, I'm relying on that money to help the animal survivors
To pay the mortgage
and to help what I wanted to do, which
so
is
it's like a chain reaction, like a ripple effect.
my hand was cut off. Yeah, my hand has been cut off because I cannot now help the way I wanted to for these feed these animals I have at my house now. 10 cats, 3 tortoises, you know, and there's more coming in. I'm getting fire cats coming in, and I'm working with the nonprofit that get the burned animals as they come in. And so they'll be at my house after. It's like a triage. So when they're recovering, and I'll get those. So my hand's been cut off. If she's not paying me rent, I was relying on that money. So that's why I started a GoFundMe raiser to people who want to support, you know, that. And you're directly supporting through me, the family. And so we're going to ship out. Anyway, back to my roommate or my tenant. There's pockets of hope, and no pun intended. I went to Hope Chapel in Kihei, and I spoke to someone, an amazing guy named Craig who works there, and they're willing. So churches are helping people to get back on their feet. And, you know, my landlord is not a U.S. citizen, and when you don't have that, you know, and if you don't have a work visa, but you're here, you're not able to get that stimulus check of $700 that the government or the county is giving to people who have lost things. They're now putting people in hotels and giving them $700 check just to help out, which is really nothing, Grace. You know that. It's like, what? I just lost. But it's not everybody. Because what about, we have so many Mexicans, we have other people in other countries that live here that are on work visas or not, and they're not getting part of that. If they're employed and it was under the table, we have a lot of those people. There's a whole population of people that are. So the churches, I think, are saying, we don't judge, we're no questions asked. We want to hit those pockets of the community of Maui that do not fall under, that the government will not give to them. And that's a very vulnerable population. And there's a large population here that is like that. So I went to the church, and he wrote in her name a check, and I was able to give her a check to help cover the rent for just 1 month. So, but that's me doing things. But, you know, these people are also afraid that if they come forward, someone will report them, immigration or what have you, you know. It could be also, you know, there's a lot of people that just don't know what's available to them. There's people that are afraid that they're illegally not supposed to be here. I don't know the details of that because they keep that so quiet. So when you meet people, you don't know if they're legal or illegal or whatever, visa, no visa, I don't know. Or what type of job, if it's under the table, over the table, do they get benefits? You don't know these things, especially with all the shops along in Lahaina, how they hire their employees. Now, this is like, you know who's wearing a bathing suit when the tide goes out kind of scenario. The tide has gone out, and now we're looking at everybody who's naked, you know, like who didn't have coverage, you know, everything. So,
do you
and
think
people are
many
afraid
people
that they will be.
Do you think many people will be going back to the mainland?
I think so. Over time, it's just a matter of time. Right now, I think everyone wants that sense of community to heal, to process what has happened. But sooner or later, we all have to eat. And those people, there will be no place for them to stay. And they'll probably go back. But the good news news is that, Maui is still open for tourism, and we rely on that tourism to get back on our feet. So Kihei was not affected. The hotels north of Ka'anapali are being reserved a little bit for people to stay in those hotels to get back on their feet. But I know there are other.
And how is Jenny my favorite place? The most favorite place to stay. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The Four Seasons Kihei. I still have my pen, by the way.
Yeah.
Grace and I, we collect the Four Seasons pens. They're the manifestation pens. Anything you write with them come true.
That's right. That's right. You know
Four
that.
Seasons is great.
I'm looking at because you see, here we go. It's just very simple. It's nothing to it. But boy, oh boy, it's magic to me.
I wish I was in my bedroom because I'd pull mine out. It's right at my bedside table. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love that place. That resort I love. The Four Seasons. Was in a Netflix. I think it was Netflix. Lotus. The Lotus. That was the first
White Lotus.
one. Yeah. The White Lotus. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I have many friends who were in that film. They were playing background. I was going to be in that film, but it was during COVID, and you needed to have a 2-month commitment until Christmas, and you were going to be quarantined in that hotel the whole time while they're shooting, just because of COVID. And I couldn't leave my pets and my tenants behind, so I couldn't do it. But that's okay. There'll be another one.
Jenny, I'm so grateful that I could talk to you. I didn't talk to you for a while. I said, how is my Jenny doing? The first thing when I heard about Lahaina, then you, and you were so wonderful to write me back what's going on. You even went there to make sure it's okay, because I was like terrified.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm always here for you, Grace, and I love what you're doing. It's just raising awareness for everyone. Having a YouTube channel, talking with people is the way that, it's just, we're all sick and tired of watching TV and having just general media tell fake news that we know is not really real. So
that's
I
right.
appreciate what
and
you're
I'm
doing.
Grateful for what you're doing, because you hands-on actually helping, not just talking, but helping. So that's wonderful. So just at the end, whatever the site is that people, if they want to give you some money, where they should go, just tell everybody.
Okay, it's difficult through this medium. If you wanted to add it when you put this up on YouTube, you can add to the in the comments section. I'll put the 2 links. I have an Amazon wish list for the animals, like the food we need, the litter, and other things. Or it could be monetary. It's a GoFundMe also that I have available. Then other people are just directly sending me Venmo, and I just did conveniently put this on a paper. So this is my Venmo account. If you can see, it's just Jennifer.
I can see very.
Yeah. So Jennifer-Rikert in that spelling for Venmo. So that is one other way to help out. And I'm pretty good about responding and sending thank you notes. And through social media, I do have my website for the cat boarding business. It's www.catniphale.com. So that's Hale, meaning house in Hawaii, HALE. And then
whatever you have, all that stuff, just send it to me. And I'm going to put right in the comments so everybody will see it, okay? The first.
Great. Thank you. Yes, fired auditorily. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. So listen, how your mom is doing? Just the last word. Is she okay there?
She's doing okay, yes. So just moved her. She's been really patient. So if you look around, I just spent all this time building this extension to my house. That's her cottage that's attached to my house.
Very nice, Jenny. Very nice. Wow.
Yeah, that's where we also have 5 of the fire cats in her one of the bedrooms in there together. So she's helping out with the cause. She's the reason why I'm an animal lover. So she's been really patient with me, and knowing I'm running around and spending less time with her. But she can't go to senior center anymore because it's a shelter now for the displaced people. So her life has been disrupted also. And she's okay. We're still worrying about, evacuating again. And so now we have a plan as a household, what to do. We're packing a go bag because, there's still hurricanes coming in this season. and we just don't want to have, this happen again, because we have not had many rains this year, and the winds and the hurricanes are still coming until December. So
It's gonna be
I'm
good,
hoping and praying.
Jenny, it's gonna be good, and you insured, so let's think positive with this. Aloha, aloha.
That's right. I know. That's right. Yeah.
Spirit. That's what
Nothing can be
counts.
worse than what we got. Yes.
Yeah.
No, and the spirit is here. It's really amazing. And I wish you were here just to see for yourself how, your community where you were is really,
Yeah, that
it's
makes me
just,
happy. You see, in this whole
yeah,
unhappiness is still
yes.
that little something to be happy about, you see. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's growing, and it's really, there's t-shirts you can buy now that say Maui strong, and those purchases go towards money proceeds go to other places that need the help. So look for those on Facebook. I'm sorry, I don't know the websites, but maybe I'll send one to you as the link if people want to buy
That's
a t-shirt
okay.
that says
That's
Maui
fine.
strong.
Whatever you send me, I'm gonna post it, okay,
Right.
under. Also, you can too, you can write whatever you want in a comment area. So,
Okay.
okay. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
Jenny. Say hello to your mom.
Okay, I
Say
will.
hello, and I'm sending love to Maui, to Lahaina, and I'm not gonna say
Yes.
anything anymore because I'm gonna start to cry now. Yeah. Love you, love you,
So
love you,
good to
love
see
you.
you. Love you too. I'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha.